as I just spoke about it, the skills gap has been a cause of concern for some time now, Chandrani, and the right talent is still scarce. While the efforts are underway to build the workforce of the future, what do you think are some of the challenges in bridging the skills gap, especially with the changing ways of working, collaborating, and interacting?
Okay, challenges are many, but it's always better to look at the positive side and understand the adult my mentality of how they want to learn. So in as you rightly said that in so many years of experience that I have in learning and development, the last couple of years or last 4 5 years have been a really a game changing in the learning and development space. And it is important for all organizations to adapt to the new change. And when it comes to learning, especially, we have to remember that we are in an adult learning environment, and we cannot subject our employees to the same type of medium, same type of learning ecosystem all the time. So we have to make our learning ecosystem extremely interesting for the employees to come forward and learn. So that's have been our endeavor in HDFC Life as well. And I think, you can only bridge the learning gap, the skill gap, if you bring in new technology, new mediums of, the way to learn, introduce new ways of learning in the learning ecosystem. And it is very, very important to have a learning culture in the organization. The leadership have to stand behind you. If the management believes in building the skill of the employees, then everything works. And as a learning and development function, you are motivated to do newer things, you are motivated to introduce new things, you are motivated to invest in the learning of your employees. You can do so many things, if the learning culture exists in an organization.
Thanks, Chandrani. Some great points there. Firstly, as you said, it is time to evolve learning. It cannot be the same as it used to be a few years ago. You have to make it interesting. You have to customize it according to the needs of what your employees are looking for. What are their aspirations? What are their goals? And also align it with the company's goals as well. And secondly, having that learning mindset and culture, very, very important. And thirdly, I think which is the most important here is about how leadership is supporting learning in an organization, because they are your role models. And if they do it, if they support it, the rest of the organization also tends to follow suit. So thanks for sharing those great points, Chandrani. Chandrani, you did speak a bit about technology here, right? And with the rise of digitization and automation, the role of digital and tech workers has become even more crucial. These are the game changers now in helping companies build and leverage the best innovative solutions. So how are you approaching the right skilling for your workers, and any initiatives that you would want to discuss in detail, and how it has impacted your employees and business performance?
See, we are we are a life insurance company, but however, we call ourselves insure tech company, because years back our leaders had a vision that digital, we have to build a digital ecosystem, we have to digitize our processes, the way we work, etc., etc. So we do have a department. We do have department where we recruit, talent from the digital space, where they, concentrate on what to be done, what not to be done. As far as bridging the skill gap is concerned, for all our employees, we take a very focused approach. We figure out that what is it that they require, and accordingly we kind of invest in their skill gap analysis. As far as bridging the gap is concerned, we don't believe in bombarding them with a lot of content and subjecting them to a lot of courses, etc., etc. So we enable them while they are performing on the job. So that's our approach. We figure out that what is the role required. Every role requires different skill set. It's not that all employees will require everything. So different departments, different role requires different type of skills and knowledge. We analyze that, and accordingly we invest in their learning and development. We also have, as you said, that initiative that we take for employees to come forward and learn. What we do is we create a learning ecosystem or learning culture in such a way that we don't subject our employees to a lot of push pace learning. We have moved away from the culture where we kind of what we call make it a mandatory kind of a system where the employees will have to learn, otherwise they would be reprimanded. We created a system where they come forward and learn on their own. So what we have done is we have linked learning to their growth. We have linked learning to a lot of reward and recognition in the system, and hence employees are coming forward, they're picking up skills which they want to, and they are demonstrating their learning on the or they're applying the learning while they're working. And those employees who are getting identified in terms of building their skills and performing on the job are getting rewarded and recognized in the system. So this is how we are trying to, this is how we are trying to bridge the skill gap in our organization. It's not that you can subject all employees to develop skills on digital, etc., etc. We have 2-3 departments who needs a lot of skills in the digital space. We have sales who needs skills on some other things. So that's how everything is very clearly laid down, and accordingly the learning interventions in our organization is completely bespoke. Okay, so we don't subject every employee to all kind of trainings. So we understand that everybody's needs are different. In fact, if you look at the learning ecosystem of our organization, in one hand we have a large scale organization which diverse learners, wherein we have employees, and within the employee group also we have got sales, we have got non-sales, we are purely those tech employees, we have got distributors, and in the distributors space also we have got corporate agents, we have got tied agents, we have got variable agents, and then they have got varied training needs. So it has been our endeavor in the last couple of years that how do we meet those varied training needs of this diverse learner group. And hence what we have done is, some employee or distributor would require digital skills, some would require domain skills, some would require a combination of various things, and then we have those niche departments, okay, those specialized departments like accounts, actuarial, finance, who needs knowledge specific to their domain. It is not possible for our in-house L&D department to bring in courses which is relevant for all employee type. So our approach have been very hybrid in bridging the skilling gap. Our approach have been always been blended. We have been introducing new learning medium in the ecosystem over the years. And if you look at our different learning mediums that we have introduced, we have a combination of them in the system. We have a mobile learning, we have web learning, we have got peer learning, we've got self-learning, we have got virtual learning, classroom learning. So it's a combination of various learning ecosystem, and people are coming forward, picking up, because individual don't learn only in one way. They learn in, I learn in a different way, you will learn in a different way. So it's like, you have to learn from the environment, from the way you want to learn. So employees are coming forward, they're picking up different, mediums of learning, which is, we have made them available in the ecosystem. They are completing those learnings that we recommend for them. They're applying it on the job, and that is evident through their performance. And those employees who are kind of coming out on the top are getting recognized. So that's the approach that we have largely in our organization. And it, more or less, we feel that we have been successfully implementing that kind of approach, and and it's showing results as well. So on the, I mean, I must add one more point before you come to the next question. We have also seen that employees who have on their own have come forward, picked up learnings, demonstrated on the job, and have been recognized by us in terms of giving them a faster career growth or etc., are the one who are staying in the system for longer and are the one who are performing better in comparison to those who have not shown this kind of self-learning drive or intent. Yeah.
Exactly. Great points there again, Chandrani. I think skills are going to be ever evolving, be it tech skills or other behavioral skills. Skills are changing every day. It's very important for organizations to create that learning ecosystem, which is empowering employees, as you said, to learn more. You don't have to push it through them, don't make it mandatory, but empower them and encourage them to learn, democratize it for them to learn, and based on what their needs are, what their skills are, and make it happen in the flow of work, as you very rightly said. And at the end of it, if you reward employees for the kind of learning that they're doing, they are not, by learning, they're not only helping themselves, they're helping the organization as well. So it's very important to celebrate that, I think. And that's the kind of impact. And it also does work as a retention tool, and it brings about more loyalty in employees when you have the right learning initiatives planned for them. So thank you. One size fits all does not work for everyone. It has to be personalized as per their needs. So great points again. Thank you so much, Chandrani. Chandrani, you did speak a little bit about there's a lot of content available there. So there's a lot of the biggest challenge, I think, it is that there's content overload happening in the learning ecosystem, which does lead to disengagement of learners. How are you coping with this challenge, and any successful approach that you would want to share with us?
So we don't subject our employees to content overload. That's how we are coping with it. So we understood that, that overloading content is not the right approach.
Yes.
And with our kind of industry where the largest learners are the frontline sales and the frontline operations, where, they need to be made job ready in the first 3 months. It doesn't make sense that you kind of give them everything in right at the first go. So we realized this, and then our approach have been to simplify the content, simplify the onboarding, especially the onboarding process. During the onboarding or during the induction, when new employee joins, you can't just subject them to everything. The approach, the training approach should be performance enablement training approach, that wherein you just give them what they need to know. You need to flip it in the sense that it has to be 80-20, 80% of net practice and 20% of knowledge. So only give the design of the program should be such that you are giving 20% of that program should be knowledge, and 80% of the program should be a lot of practice, of what they will be doing when they're out of the learning phase and when they will start performing on the job. So it is very, very important that we design our content that way. I'll give you an example for our frontline manager or the first level manager. Recently, we are kind of honing their skill on the sales planning. So the design of the program is not that, facilitators are standing and saying what is the sales planning, the do's and don'ts, etc., etc. The entire approach of the workshop has been, learn while doing things. So the approach is simulation. We have introduced a digital simulation methodology for training them on sales planning or effective sales planning, honing their skills on sales planning, where the entire their real life is getting replicated on a simulation, where they're actually doing the sales planning, actually playing with those input parameters, output parameters, taking decisions, taking wrong decisions and understanding the implication of those wrong decisions in the months to come. So that's how you kind of train. You can't overload them with a lot of content. You need to replicate their real life environment in the training and make them practice what they will actually do when they're out of the training phase. So that's how it is.
Thanks, Chandrani. Again, great point. Learning while doing. Do not overload your people with content. Help them learn while they're doing their job and in the flow of their work, so that on a daily basis they don't realize that that they're spending those extra hours trying to
Yeah.
kind of learn those specific courses. But they realize that they're learning while things are happening naturally at work. So that's a great point.
And
Thank you.
also there's one more thing, I mean, like we realize that, you have to, kind of introduce, as I said in the earlier question, that, you to introduce a lot of learning medium to your employees. Another approach that we have taken is we have started curating a lot of courses which is available in the learning ecosystem outside our organization. So we curate relevant courses for our employees, and we make them available to our employees. And the choice is given to our employees to come forward, choose the kind of skill they want to pick up, and on their own do those courses. And then once they complete those courses, we reimburse them. Okay. So that's another way of motivating or attracting your employees to come forward and pick up skills of their choice.
Thanks, Chandrani. Thanks for sharing that. Moving on to the final question for this video interview, Chandrani. So how are you currently assessing your skills gap in your organization? And how are you assessing the capabilities of employees that are required for the jobs that they're currently doing? And what would they be doing as the job role changes in the future?
So assessment of capability gap is through their performance.
Yes.
So it's not that, I mean, we have seen employees who have scored high in knowledge assessments or other assessments, etc., may not do equally good in on the job. Okay. So for us, the measurement parameter is linked with the way they are performing while learning, as well as performing while doing their actual job. So both has to match. For those employees where both matches are the one who have the right kind of skill. I mean, only having the knowledge and not applying it on the job doesn't make sense for any organization, right? So I'm not going to reward an employee who is very high on knowledge and skill, but very low on performance. Okay. Exactly. So both has to match, and that we have created systems where we match both the things. And we identify employees who are equally good in both the areas, and that's how they have been identified as high performance high performers, employees who can be given faster growth, employees who can be rewarded and recognized. People who are not performing on the job, whose ratings, etc., are below average or not as per standard, are the one who's identified as somebody who doesn't have the required skill and knowledge on the job. So they are being subjected to some different way of training, interventions, etc., etc. So that's how we kind of analyze the skill gap.
And that's a very, I think that's a very important way to do it. I think organizations will learn, because at times organizations get confused between what will help them assess skills that are missing in the organization. Yeah. And as you said, if you link it to performance, you get the right answers right there. So thank you for sharing that, Chandrani. On that note, thank you, Chandrani, for these great insights. I'm sure the stories, examples, and the lessons you've shared will help our leaders go back to their whiteboards and rework on their strategy and agenda to make it more impactful. As you said, it is not about push anymore for learning. It is about empowering your people to learn in the flow of work, learning while they're doing, and creating courses, creating that personalized journey for them based on what their needs are and based on what the company's needs are. So thank you so much, Chandrani, for sharing these insights with us.